Revelations 13:2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Well, first and foremost, I would like to introduce myself. Um, my name is Rondell Gilliam, Rondell Patrick Gilliam to be exact. Is the reason why I do, display my full name, like how some people would say your government. He just gave his whole government. Well, yeah, and that is because the government will be upon my shoulders. Okay. This scripture that I started with, is a very detailed scripture that shows you the position of the Son of God when he comes into his power. I think most people read this and probably don't have too much understanding about it, but thanks to the Father, he's blessed me with that knowledge. And I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna try my best of giving you some of this information as best as I can because I'll be honest with you, I'm not as versed in the Bible as some brothers would come across. I'm not a someone who can just off the top of the head. Not to say that I can't, but however, I'm not as versed. So I only say that just to hopefully, have you guys, take some consideration for that. Well, anyhow, as I go into the scripture, I want to try my best at breaking it down. Okay, so again, like I had told you, the beast represents a man. Okay, we have to first and foremost know that um, the man represents the nation. So again, some people will say the beast represents a nation, which is true. However, the man represents a nation. Why? Because he is the father. Okay, so a father that is over a nation, okay, would be considered a beast. All right, and I'm not going to go into that right now as far as breaking that part down, but you can do your own research if you want to find out for yourselves and research it. You'll find out that the beast, like when you see when you heard about Beastmaster. Okay, the Beastmaster, that movie that was out some years ago, probably in the mid to late 80s. Could have been the early 80s as well, but around that time. The Beastmaster. Okay, so this is the reason why they call him the Beastmaster is because he was like the Adam. Okay, he was like the first Adam. He was the one who was able to communicate with the animals and nature. Okay, he's like what you would consider either He-Man to be even. Okay, the Beastmaster. Um, so then it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. So okay, now you see the leopard, and the leopard represents diversity. Okay, when you think of a leopard, you're thinking of diversity. This is the reason why they chose the leopard because of his spots. His spots represents different would represent different nations and tongues. Okay, of people. He's diverse because he comes from these different nations. It's basically to say that he can represent these nations because of his diverse knowledge and understanding and accepting of who they are and things like that. So okay, we're gonna move on real quick, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. So and when you think of a bear, you think of a very strong animal. Okay, a bear is very strong, and I'm sorry, the feet would represent um, his dominion. Okay, because when you think about feet, um, feet are what you use pretty much to walk. Okay, so you making when you depending on where you put your feet is where you pretty much say that this is yours. Okay, so wherever your feet lands is what belongs to you. So dominion would be considered um, would represent the beast. Okay, and I'm gonna prove that to you. So and his mouth, right? And it goes on to say his mouth was as the mouth of a lion. Okay, so now you have this another animal which is a fierce lion, because he said his mouth was as the mouth of a lion. And when you know that a lion is fierce, he he's very how you say courageous. Okay, um, that's why you look at Dorothy, and Dorothy, the cowardly lion. When he came into his understanding of who he was, he rose up to the prey, and he became a lion and not a cowardly lion. Okay, he became a bold lion. So that also represents boldness, and it represents authority. Okay, so this is the reason why when it says in the dragon, okay, uh, when the dragon gave him his power, okay, and his seat and his authority. So the dragon is the one who gave him his power, his seat, and authority. And who is this dragon? The dragon would be the Most High, okay, because dragon represents an age, okay. It's the beginning of an age. So this new beast, which is the Son of God, will be the king and the ruler with much dominion and much power, right? The power, I'm sorry, the dominion represented by the leopard, okay? Diversity. Um, I'm sorry. Well, the leopard would represent um more so or less well, yeah, you can say dominion. You can say dominion, and the lion, I'm sorry, the bear would represent power. Okay, so you have power and you have the dominion. And then you have the lion, which would represent authority, because authoritative power is usually word of mouth, okay? Someone who speaks firmly and pretty much is a totalitarian at best. Okay, so when you think of a totalitarian, who would probably refer to? Something like Adolf Hitler. I believe even they called Abraham Lincoln also, if I'm not mistaken, a totalitarian. These are people who pretty much want complete power. They want to dictate their power through their word of mouth, and they show that pretty much by uh, their nation recognizing them as the head leader overall. So they're, somewhat of a hegemony type government. Okay, so so let's go over this one more time before I finish this. The beast represents a man, okay, a nation, because that's where the nation is going to come from this beast, okay, when he recognizes who he is in his time, okay. Also the leopard, okay, so I'm sorry, the bear. So the bear represents power, okay, so the leopard represents dominion, the bear would represent power, and the lion would represent the authority. So he has the dominion, and then you have the power, and then you have the authority. Okay, so that's pretty much it right there in a nutshell. I think I explained it as best as I could. Um, I have a few other videos that I do want to start posting as soon as possible to just want to let everyone know, I appreciate the ones who were able to pay attention all the way to the end. I'll be back later for a little bit more, and